From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings Lalate.
It's a big morning on Mornings Lalate, and I'm back with exciting great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this first part of this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats will likely give you more months of checks and what one Republican just said minutes ago. Then the second part of this video will go over the reconciliation and why my reporting has been confirmed. There's other sums of money, a fortune of other sums of money in there for you in the fourth stimulus recon. Then we go to the exciting, unpredictable third part of this video as the bipartisan bill is heading to a vote. Yes, the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. The markup of the bill could be done by the end of the day. The vote could be next week. I have a lot of breaking news. It's getting very fast, and things are changing by the minute on this breaking news of Mornings LA. Then we cut to Fistimus as Jay Powell was on Capitol Hill minutes ago and testified about inflation rates, and I'll go over what that means for the raise of your benefits if you're on SSI and SSDI later this year. And then we got to the big money that viewers continue to get. Tens of thousands of dollars, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. I'm going to show you how to get that big money on this morning's broadcast. The toast is toasted, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here. Let's get to all the delicious news. And the deliciousness starts right here, right now on this big early morning's broadcast. So much happening. Let's get to it right now. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is so wonderful to be back. I hope you're doing well. How's the weather where you are? Tell me, jump in the live chat right now and tell me how the weather is and where you're tuned in from. It's been warm here. It's coming down. It's a little bit less muggy, which is better. It's still on the warm side. But I can deal with the less mugginess at the moment. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, there's so much breaking news. I literally have close to 45 pages of breaking news reports I got to go over with you in this big live broadcast on Mornings LA today. First, we'll go over the stimulus check and why those Democrats will likely give you more months of checks. Then we go over the recon, and my reporting has been confirmed. There is fortunes of other money in the fourth stimulus recon. I'll go over what some of those other sums of money are and who's getting them in the fourth stimulus recon, that additional sum of money. Then we go over all the voting and all the bills and all the drafts with incredible details. The bipartisan, I have an update about when and where, the vote and the bill, and then the recon, I have an update about it as well, and I also have an update about the provisions. You're going to see the provisions on this morning's LA broadcast. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall with Jay Powell on Capitol Hill just minutes ago, testifying about inflation. And it signaled where that inflation rate will raise your benefits up to. It's all incredible great news. And then we cut to the big money that viewers continue to get. $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Like Nisa, you got $23,000. I'm going to show you how you can get this big sum of money in this big morning's broadcast. And with that, this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in afternoons. I'm next back with you with a replay of noontime coming up next, and then brand new shows this afternoon of afternoons LA and evening shows, brand new with all the breaking news. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. 400,000 subscribers in 1 year. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 2,000 to 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. The link is under the video where it says join. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check. Boy, can you imagine that just minutes ago, during the Q&A with Jay Powell on Capitol Hill, a Republican said to Jay Powell, well, the pandemic is not over. There you go. When we're looking at those stimulus checks. When looking at those stimulus checks, the issue is how many months and how much money. The pandemic plus 1 year provision has been much of the topic of discussion. And that starts here. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. Well, we'll be going over that in a second. Senate proposal, July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House bill, $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. Senate amount is unknown, but word on the street is the senators want to pay you this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $80 for $100. As you saw just in those opening remarks, suddenly the tide has turned. Legislators left and right, conservative and liberal, are now saying the pandemic is not over. So if the pandemic is not over, then suddenly that House bill from Jalopal, pandemic plus 1 year monthly stimulus checks, looks like it would pay not just 1 year, but pandemic plus 1 year. And pandemic plus 1 year would mean that you would get more than 1 year of checks, which would be more than 12 checks and would be more than $13,000. So let's compare that more than 12 checks and more than $13,000 to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate, House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And also, how's the weather? Vote House or Senate right now. I want to see you voting. Boy, things change by the second. That's why you got to stay with this channel. Who knew that we would hear this on this morning's broadcast? Republicans saying the pandemic's not over. We still are not out of this. There you go. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent any individual who got a third gets a fourth. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for everyone. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly, those Democrats represent. It's not a waivable check. So if you do see the check at the happy hour tonight, and it's a little bit wavy after having too many Mitch margaritas, don't wave at the check. It's waving, but it's not waivable. It's sort of wavy. Hey, check, how you doing? Oh, you're a little wavy there. Are you come in waves? Oh, don't respond to me. Okay. Yes, there's only one of me. There's not two of me. It's not a waivable check. It may be a wavy check after too many Mitch margaritas. But there you go. Don't ask me what's in the Mitch margarita. I don't want to know. The fourth stimulus check will come in the month of July, for the month of July, and in the month of August, for the month of August. But in the third part of this video, we'll go over what happened to that July 4th vote, but more importantly, what's happening with these two new votes. Wow, it's getting exciting. We have new timelines. We have new dates. We have a lot happening today with the bipartisan as well. It's getting very exciting. In the second half of this video, we'll go over the recon and why that recon has now been confirmed as having fortunes. $3.5 trillion of fortunes for money for you. I'm going to go over what those monies are and more. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, and Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, is on Capitol Hill today testifying about the inflation rate. And minutes ago, Wall Street's reaction was to use the inflation rate I mentioned on this channel. Wow. We'll go over all those details and how much your benefits, SSI to VA, could be lifted in fifth stimulus. But first, let's get some money. That's what this channel does. And I'm so excited for you. You have just done a wonderful job. If you got in rent, post in the live chat right now. If you got in utilities, post in the live chat right now. If you got in SNAP, post in the live chat right now. Well, this channel launched in April of last year because people were not getting paid their EIDL loans or EIDL grants. The channel was launched not to track your EIDL grant because it wasn't coming. It was launched to get you the money. And I got viewers, $25 million of it. In fall of 2020, second stimulus was not coming because it wasn't passed yet. And other people were trying to track second stimulus. I said, no, I'm going to get you money. And I got viewers $250,000 of it. I got viewers rent, like Tyrone for his family of four out of Boston. But now you are doing stuff we've never seen on this channel. Viewers are getting astronomically larger sums because of my videos, because you are taking all the information and doing a great job of it. I say in the videos that the rent is about 4 to 6 months of rent, about $5,000. Viewers are getting upwards of $20,000 in rent. Every hour goes, I get another viewer that says I got $10,000, $12,000. Nisi got $23,000 for this channel, of which $20,000 for rent. The other items are SNAP and utilities. Then when we talk about SNAP, I was saying, well, viewers are getting $5,000 to $6,000 from this channel, which they were for SNAP. But now viewers are getting $12,000 for SNAP, like John for his family. When I talk about utilities, I said, well, some viewers may be able for $300. Viewers last night, again, sent me more private messages on Instagram saying, thank you, Lalate. I got $3,000 of utilities from your videos. And that is the power of the purple. That's your power as well. So get that pen and paper ready because I'm going to go over how you can get the sums of money. If you've gotten one but haven't gotten to the rest, stay tuned. If you haven't gotten any of it, stay tuned because we're going to go over all the details. Get that pen and paper ready. Different places have different eligibility. So if one says no, don't worry, reach out to the next. It'll say yes. All right, here you go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like a stimulus check or muddled blue. No one knows that. I don't know that. I don't know what that word means. Muddled. I don't know what teal means, and I come around with a range of different words, a range of other options of words because I don't know those words. So don't say words they don't know because they don't understand them, like I don't. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful sum of money. And the next pot of money is SNAP. John got $12,000 for SNAP. It's a fortune. Why so much money? Let's go over what SNAP is. It is money for food. It comes from the Department of Agriculture. John got $12,000 from it. The viewers daily are getting a fortune. If you got SNAP, post in the live chat. Post what you get on an annualized basis. How much does it pay? A family of four in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. Wow. It's just incredible. Only 11 minutes of this video, and you are getting $16,000 for SNAP, family for in Hawaii, $5,000 for rent. Lynn Glenn got SNAP for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. But the next pot of this money is the money coming back from your states. Two viewers have gotten this, one for $3,000, one for $5,000. This is the overpayment due to computer error of unemployment benefits. The federal government has ordered returned back to you. Where are you getting it? Direct deposit. When reach out to your state and say, hey, state, can you track that check that's due to me due to overpayment of unemployment benefits due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And finally, that last pot of the money is the refund check due to overpayment due to unemployment benefits. The breaking news on Mornings Lalate is we have new dates. Some viewers like Margaret, Cod, and Michael have been getting this refund check from the payment of the unemployment benefits of 2021. They had already gotten it last month, but IRS gave us an update. The direct deposits will continue to start another round on July 14th, yesterday, and those delivered. Those are direct deposits. And those delivered by paper checks will begin July 16th, tomorrow. So more refunds will continue throughout the summer, and the average refund amount is $1,265. Wow. Wonderful news. So how much is it? Let's go over the details. First, let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000 of taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? You can track it. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. And it'll reveal stuff that you never knew. Some stuff that you don't really want to know. Some stuff that you wish you'd never heard. It'll reveal the tax return you file, the taxes you pay. It'll reveal, is muddled really a word? And is it muddler, or muddled? It'll reveal, is teal a pop singer also? Or is that just a color? And then it'll reveal the refund check you're getting from IRS as well. Boy, can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update 2021, starting right now. So here we go. 2.5 weeks ago, we had a massive recon that had roads and bridges in there. And the Democrats have pulled one another. Would you vote in favor of this with the roads and bridges in there? No, they said. So they had to take the roads and bridges out. And that happened 2 Wednesdays ago, shrinking the recon dramatically and taking roads and bridges out. Those roads and bridges went into something called the bipartisan. Now, for the first time on Mornings Lalate, I'm going to go over names because a lot of people are sending me DMs confused by the names. Not your fault, because the president keeps on changing the names of these items, and the print media is using a lot of different names, so I want to go over each of these. First, your money is still in the recon, and the money for the roads and bridges in the bipartisan. But let's go over these two names so you understand what other names they're using for the same words. Recon is also reconciliation, is also the Democratic bill, is also anything Bernie Sanders talks about, and is also 3.5 trillion. So if you see a massive number like 3.5 trillion, and there's a quote from Bernie, it's the recon. It is also called the budget bill. All right, the bipartisan is also called the infrastructure bill. It's also called the roads and bridges. If you see a quote from Mitt Romney, Susan Murkowski, Kristen Sinema, that's regarding the bipartisan. If you look at a price tag, it's 1.5 or 1.2 trillion approximately. And if that's not confusing enough, the president gave a name to the two items to combined: Build Back America. So there you go. It's always important because it's confusing. And how do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by taking roads and bridges out, which made the recon passable. We have a wonderful conservative publications op-ed which explains and confirms my reporting. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take some of the spending from the recon and put it in the bipartisan roads and bridges, it made the overall number of the recon smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch, sorry to set you up. Now, here's how life has changed in less than 24 hours. One, I'm back. And two, the second half of this quote originally said there's nothing good for this for Republicans to support because by supporting the bipartisan, they're enabling the recon. Well, times have turned because later in this video, you're going to see that the Republicans are euphoric about the bipartisan. Mitch McConnell has a new Mitch. He's not interfering. He's letting it pass. And the Republicans are ecstatic to have the bipartisan done. So things have really changed. Remember bipartisan roads and bridges. Now that the recon was shrunk because roads and bridges were taken out, the progressives were able to add some stuff in. And I have been telling you over the last 2 weeks that they would be adding stuff in. My reporting has been confirmed again. The progressives have added stuff in. And later in this video, I'll go over the fortunes of money, 3.5 trillion of it, that they've added in. How can they do this, and how are they going to do this? Well, they gave word of this over a week ago when Representative Ilhan Omar says, we have a commitment that regardless of what happens to the bipartisan, we do a recon that goes as far as we want it. And it has. Representative Richie Torres said that he was adding in housing, and I will refuse to vote for a bipartisan unless the recon is big enough. And the progressives had confirmed that their caucus was meeting daily with the White House. How are they able to do this? Because the progressives were protecting the recon per the instructions of the White House. Brian Schatz, Democrat of Hawaii, says the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon its own priorities, and Jalapal said that she was instructed to protect the recon. What's important to understand here is that the reconciliation is a bill that has its own unique nuances to it. Let me go over the details about it right now. First, what is a reconciliation? It's a bill that has two parts. Well, a reconciliation procedural bill and a reconciliation substantive bill. Your bill that I cover on this channel is a substantive bill. Who writes it? It's written by House subcommittees as the lead authors. The Senate subcommittees are part of the discussion, but not the lead authors. They're the same political party. Under the Constitution, certain House subcommittees are delegated certain duties, and they oversee writing legislation on certain subjects. Here's examples. House Ways and Means oversees legislation about stimulus checks. They also write legislation about unemployment benefits. Next, it's important to understand that when those subcommittees write something, there's no constitutional requirement they show you what they're writing. There's no requirement that they tell you what they're writing. There's no requirement that they give you an update about how they voted on something. When they're done, then ultimately those subcommittees send what they've written. Let's say there's 10 subcommittees with 10 pages up to Nancy, and she combines it all into a bill. And at that point, you see the bill, H, or Senate for S. And that's where you actually see it. Later in this video, I'll go over why this is so important to remember, because you're going to see over the next few days confusion about why you haven't heard something. I'm going to explain to you why you haven't heard details about what's in the recon yet. And in fact, there's articles about this. So how did we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by Jalapal. Jalapal had written Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. And the letter was co-signed by 12 House Democrats who are among the 100 plus, who had written the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Yes, 100 Democrats wrote that letter. Can we top that? We can. With this letter, written by 7 House committee members, saying they're going to put monthly stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus recon when they write it. Well, who are these people? They are the members of that House Ways and Means House subcommittee. They wrote the president's a letter saying, when we write for stimulus recon, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in there. Wow. You have the push Purple Power and make sure they keep their promise. Can we top that? Yeah, they also say they're putting fifth stimulus checks into the fifth stimulus package. And we can top that, as the international agreement about corporate taxes is now law. 3 weeks ago, you saw a ceremonial signature overseas, but that was just a ceremonial signature. This week, the formal signature. It's huge, because now it's international law. Why is this big? By making the international corporate tax rate minimum an international law agreement, he doesn't have to put it in the recon. Hence, number one, easier to write the recon. Number two, easier to call the vote on the recon. It's not in there. It doesn't need to be in there. Number three, easier to vote on the recon. And four, easier to pass the recon. Wow, can we top that? We can. In the third and final part of this fourth stimulus check update this morning, this final 15, you're going to see dozens of articles that go over the breaking news this morning. The vote on the bipartisan, the bill on the bipartisan, the vote on the recon, the bill on the recon, and the provisions of the recon. It's all getting very exciting news. Then we got to Jay Powell and his comments about inflation. And guess what? Wall Street's now saying my inflation rate that I discuss in these videos when discussing fifth stimulus. Getting exciting. That's coming up in a second. But first, here's something also exciting, the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, or internet, and you're watching the videos and you're having problems finding it, don't worry, I got your back. The volunteers got your back. Open the description and go down to where you see an emoji of a house. Click on the emoji. It'll send you to the community page. The community page is separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram users. It's at news.lalate.com/community. Reach out to the volunteers. They'll help you with rent, utilities, internet, and SNAP, and also mortgage assistance. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with that huge finale. You can't wait for it. That final 15 about your fourth stimulus coming up in a second. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues on Mornings LA with no less than 34 breaking news articles about to be delivered in the final 15 minutes of this video. It's all breaking news, and if you stay to the final 15, you're gonna get it. All exciting on breaking in this Thursday morning. How are ya? This is Lalate. Make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop of 1 million. 400,000 subscribers in 1 year. I want you part of this family. The most informed and the most up-to-date viewers across the board, getting fortunes and thousands of dollars from this channel. So hit that subscribe button. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel, the pinned comment. Coming in the second half of this video, I'll go over all this breaking news about fourth stimulus. You're going to be shocked. We'll go over fifth stimulus, what Jay Powell said minutes ago, and we get a preview of what's coming up later today. All right, let's get right into what Jay Powell said minutes ago about fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus raises your benefits up for SSI and SSDI, Social Security and railroad benefits. But what happens under this lift up? First, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. They'll remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. How does this work? First, let's understand how this works. They'll raise everyone's benefits up. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, SSA, VA benefits, and more. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. Well, guess what Jay Powell said minutes ago on Capitol Hill when testifying before senators and congressional leaders over today and yesterday? He said that he still maintains his position, that inflation is going up and it'll reach its highest point at the end of this year. Wow. There you go. There's the confirmation again. Now, what was Wall Street's reaction to the news? While Powell said the number for inflation is going to go high, they think it's higher than he says. No different. They've been saying that for over a year. And what number did Wall Street use this morning? 5%, the same number I've been using on this channel. I've been using 5% or 10% on the high end, and they said it's definitely 5%. This is huge for your benefits. Let's go over the details. First, your benefits will step up. Then they'll apply the inflationary benchmark. And if it's 5%, your benefits will be raised up, not just 5% next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. If the rate the year after that is 1%, then you're plus 5 plus 1%. Next, they're going to move the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand and also stay on benefits. Now you have room to have a muddle blue check in your hand, $3,000 of at least, and some Crayola crowns. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. Now that's going to go away if you want to go work. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and no longer fear the marriage penalty, or be penalized or lose benefits because of it. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. It's not retroactive. Now that's fifth stimulus. What else is happening in the fifth stimulus? Well, those House Ways and Means subcommittee members represent, they're going to be giving you stimulus checks in there as well. This would go to a bill in the fall, then for a vote around the end of winter, and then the money out next year. It would not overlap with fourth stimulus. Then the president has dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration, he announced recently. This is before his firing of Commissioner Saul, that ensures that your third, fourth, and fifth stimulus checks go out on time. Finally, if you're missing a first, second, or third stimulus check, you need to do two things: file a tax return and request it on the tax return. If you haven't done both of those things on the tax return, you need to go to a tax preparer. Lastly, if you're in the live chat and you see people with an emoji of a purple hawk posting the great sums of money they're getting, rent, utility, internet, and you haven't gotten it, consider becoming a member. The link's under the video where it says join here. By becoming a member, you're delivered daily from me to you the big money that's available for you. When third stimulus came out, people were saying, hey, there's a $1,400 stimulus check, let's track it. I said, yeah, let's cash the $14,000 you get on the third stimulus. Viewers' eyes popped out. And that's what's happened. Viewers, if you haven't posted your success stories of rent, utilities, internet, and SNAP, post them right now. Viewers are getting fortunes from this channel because they understood that under third stimulus, there's a stimulus check of $1,400. But there's also $15,000 for a lot of you. Under second stimulus, they understood there was a $600 stimulus check, but they also understood there was $15,000 of rent for you. And now they're getting big sums of money from these videos. So consider becoming a member, because that's what I do. I help people get this big sum of money, and I deliver daily as a member a breakdown of all the monies in third stimulus you can get and what's slated for fourth and fifth stimulus. All right, here you go. The final 15. Here we go about your fourth stimulus check update 2021. Exciting details. I'm going to go over the bipartisan and the recon. First, let's start with dates. July 4th. Well, what happened with July 4th? Well, July 4th passed because at the time that Nancy and Chuck said over 1,000 times that the final vote would be by July 4th, the recon had roads and bridges in it at the time. And at that time, they pulled their Democrat caucus and said, I'm not going to vote in favor of it with the roads and bridges out. They took the roads and bridges out and made it passable. So what's the big exciting details? Well, let's go over the exciting details of the bipartisan first. Now remember, bipartisan is roads and bridges. So it's not money for you. But the reason why bipartisan is important for you is because of what I've informed you of the voting process. The recon has to go for a vote before or concurrently with the bipartisan, but enough Democrats have said you can't call the recon for a vote now and toss our bipartisan by the wayside and get to it in 5 months from now. You have to have the bipartisan done. And so viewers have been saying, when is the bipartisan done? Remember, you're not focused on what's in the bipartisan because it's roads and bridges. You're focused on that they get it done so that we can get to our stuff, which is in the recon. And what's the breaking news? There's a deadline. Well, at least a self-imposed deadline. The Republicans and the Democrats have established for the bipartisan group a self-imposed deadline of today to get all deal provisions of what would be in the bipartisan bill done by today. What does that mean? It doesn't mean they're going to write the bipartisan bill, but they'll agree upon what the provisions are through talks and negotiations and put pen to paper to say, this is what's going to be in the bipartisan. We have got it done. And that is where we are this morning. Rolling with Senator Lisa Murkowski, a Republican out of Alaska, said very exciting details. Then Kristen Sinema says it's very productive. And then also Mitt Romney, the voice of reason, says we hope to get the most issues resolved by Thursday. Really incredible details. There's a lot of praising coming from both sides of the aisle. Now, what is really surprising here is that the Republicans are ecstatic, euphoric about the bipartisan. This has really changed. A conservative publication today, its front article, lead article, is Mitch McConnell, and says that Mitch McConnell, no less than a week ago, said he was going to block anything, even bipartisan, from this administration. Mitch McConnell has apparently gotten pushback from the Republicans saying, this is a good thing. You need to support this or zip it up, zip it close, because there's enough Republicans that like this bipartisan. In essence, the president got what he wanted by doing something that's so really bipartisan that everyone could agree to. And so with that deadline, what's going on? That self-imposed deadline is to try to get the provisions of the bipartisan done by today. Wow. So then when would be the vote? The bipartisan group has said they want the vote next week. But middle-of-the-road publications that are neither conservative nor liberal say they could get it done by next week, but the latest would be the week after. And there you go. This is huge because guess what? The recon, which we're going to turn to right now, has to go for a vote before the bipartisan. So when would the vote on the recon be? Either next week or the week after. Boy, things are moving fast. So suddenly we have a date for the vote. Now, the recon. What is in the recon? Here is what you need to know. The recon, as I discussed earlier in this video, is being done by subcommittees in the House and Senate that don't have to show you what they're doing. And there's a new article out today that says the Democrats are intentionally not showing you what's in the recon. I don't want to go into why, because it's almost a 30-minute video unto that itself. But I want you to know that the Democrats have intentionally not shown you everything that's in the recon. But on Tuesday, a major milestone, as the price tag of the recon reached a formal agreement. $3.5 trillion. This is huge because of this is great news because of two reasons. One, because there's an agreement. When they do a recon, the first thing they do is agree upon the price tag. Once they have the price tag, as Senator Tim Kaine represents, then they can go in and say, okay, now we have a price tag. We'll take $100 here and put it to this, and $200 and put it to that. The price tag, the overall price tag, is formative and critical to getting to the finish line. Number two, it's huge because the number is huge. 3.5 trillion, folks, is a lot of money. Remember, everything in the recon is checks for Americans. There's nothing for anything but checks for the Americans. There's a lot of checks of all different types, of all different walks of life. And if you've been with this channel, if you've seen the coverage of even this video, see there's a lot of different sums of money for a lot of different types of people. So what is in the recon? We will not see it until it's ready for a vote on the House floor. Why I bring this up to you is critical. Number one, early in this video, I went over it for you to understand what's the infrastructure and what's the recon. Some people are sending me messages saying, I saw the infrastructure and there's nothing in there for us. Of course, there's not supposed to be anything. If you're looking at the wrong one. You're looking at the roads and bridges. Look at the recon. The infrastructure is infrastructure. The recon is your money. It's over here. Number two, there is no place, time, or instance for anyone to say, I haven't heard of. Guess what? No one else has heard anything because no one has said what's in the recon, and they're not telling you what's in the recon. So there's no time or place for negativity or someone to say, I haven't heard what's in the recon, because the Democrats have intentionally not said what's in the recon. Now, how do I have details of what's in the recon? Because a conservative publication thought it would make sense for them to write a sort of trash talking article where they talk about the horrible things of the recon and why the money should not be spent on these things. So in doing that article, they do not make an exhaustive list of what's in the recon. They just want to sort of, fire shots at certain things that are in the recon. So here are some of the items in the recon, and they're wonderful. But this is not the entire list. There is money for free checks. There's checks for free school meals for everyone. Free school meals for everyone. There's checks for massive tax breaks. There's checks for cheaper prescription medication, including Medicare. There's checks for immigration reform. There's checks for greener farming and farmers. There's checks for elections. There's checks all over the place for free internet. There's one thing I can get people's eyes to pop out. Free internet? Yeah, so free internet. They intend to give fortunes to local governments so that local governments can run free internet networks, and so you wouldn't have to pay for internet ever. There is free Medicare costs that will be underwritten, so your Medicare costs will be cheaper. There is there's checks for unions and independent contractors' rights. There is checks to cover Medicare expansion so that you'll get coverage for dental, for vision, and for hearing aid care that was no longer included, and a lot more stuff across the board. Next, the voting process. 3 bills, 12 steps. We have a reconciliation procedure, reconciliation substantive, and bipartisan. It requires 3 times 4 steps, not 12 days, but at least 12 steps. Senate subcommittee, Senate floor, House, President. 4 steps times 3. They got to do it. But the great news is that everything has really changed dramatically. Here's what you need to know, is that suddenly Republicans want the bipartisan. Number one. Number two, suddenly Republicans want to get the bipartisan done very, very quickly as they can. They think that the provisions can get agreement by the end of today, and they think they can get the vote done within about 7 days. Here's my opinion of the situation. Excuse me, bipartisan, not Republicans, bipartisan. Here's my opinion of the situation. They want to go on their vacation. They want to go on their vacation. They don't want your stimulus package holding up their vacation, or your infrastructure bill holding up their vacation. They want to get it done, so they're going to get it done. So the progress and the mindset has totally changed. From maybe I'll get to it. Now they're rushing to get it done. I haven't seen this type of euphoria of rushing since December of 2020. And guess who's behind the rushing? Mitt Romney. I mean, he's very good at rushing, and there's always a Romney plan for something. He loves to write. So I'm loving his rushing. Let's keep on rushing. Let's get it done. On the recon front, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer issued all these statements yesterday that said this recon is historic. There is so much money for the American people in this recon. It's historic. But it's important for you to know that until we're over the finish line, you need to push. You can never hold up that donut and say, when in my bank account? When is it landing? Because legislators have their own priorities. There's a $3.5 trillion tag agreement now on the recon. Guess what? Every legislator is going to fight to put more of that money into their program they won over someone else's program. And there's ultimately someone going to try to take something that you want to have in there. If you think that unemployment benefits should be in there, push to get it in there. PUC, PUA, FPUC, UI, extended or reinstated. If you think that student loan debt forgiveness or mortgage forbearance or eviction moratorium should be added in there or extended, push it. If you think that that stimulus checks is solid and in concrete. Never expect anything solid and concrete until we're to the finish line. So don't hold up that donut and just expect it to happen. You need to push. Democrats could change the number of checks, change the amount of checks, change the frequency of checks. They can change things by the second. You need to push. As WR, a wonderful viewer, 2 weeks ago on Noontime LA called up the phone and spoke to Senator Coons, Democrat, Delaware, one of Joe Biden's closest confidants. What he did was exactly what I told viewers to do. Express professionally and respectfully why you need stimulus checks. Don't call up and asking where your money is. Call up and say why you need monthly stimulus checks. He expressed his professional opinion, why it's needed, and what's his situation, what's his family situation, what's his business situation. And the secretary said, yes, thank you. Senator Coons is working on monthly stimulus checks. Now, ultimately, not a time to put that feet up and say that everything is wonderful and perfect. You need to push. Pick up that phone and do the same with your Democrats. If you don't have Democrats, call up another state's Democrats, progressives. Push, because ultimately, the pushing is everything. In fall of 2020, in December 2020, there was a continuing resolution. It's the budget bill to run the government. No one ever stirred a stimulus in a continuing resolution. Guess who came up with the idea? I did. My idea solely was to put stimulus in the continuing resolution. It changed American history. I said, let's get stimulus in the continuing resolution. And I said, you, Purple Power, you push the narrative out there. And you did. Suddenly, stimulus was going to continuing resolution. People said it doesn't belong in there. I said, I don't care. We're putting it in there. And you got it in there initially. And then they said, oh, we'll just give you unemployment stimulus. We said, no. You give us stimulus checks as well. And we pushed back and we got it in there. That's the Purple Power push. Do it. And with that, I look forward to seeing you on Afternoons LA, a brand new show this afternoon at 3 o'clock. And then Evenings LA at 5 o'clock, 2 brand new shows, followed by a new show of Overnight's Crypto. Noontime today will be a replay. But with that, subscribe. A 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you to hit that subscribe button. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. It also delivers a side of garlic. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and pinned comment. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay with LA for more.